Hello and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Delta Green tonight. So hello. For those of you that are in the channel, let us know how we sound. For those of you that are watching this later on YouTube, thanks for giving us a look. We are past the midway point. We are into part 3. It's a 4-part campaign. Each part is anywhere between like 4 and, well, for us, like 12 episodes, as part 2 went a long way. But we just started up part 3 last week, and we'll see how this goes. So I'll dive into the summary shortly. But let's talk about some other things. It's not past the point. You weren't past the point of no return when you accepted, Ashley, the initial operation in the very beginning, and that just left. But other things we do here, in addition to Delta Green, we play on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Thank you for the subs there, Melissa, but she's obligated. And Too Old to Twitch, thank you very much. But we play other games here. We play on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Fridays is our Delta Green day. Saturdays is currently Blades in the Dark. And Mondays, we alternate between Ultraviolet Grasslands and Alien from Free League. This coming Monday, which will be the 27th, it is a Ultraviolet Grasslands night. So you can come back and watch us play Psychedelic Oregon Trail. That's basically what it is. So it's fun. And then I guess I should probably mention this as well, especially if you're watching this as a Delta Green fan. I'll be running another Delta Green game starting next week, September 30th. I'm going to be running it over on Garblight Games, different stream. I play games over there quite regularly. Call of Cthulhu we've been doing lately, and some others on Tuesday nights. Play some Traveler there as well. But next Thursday night, I believe 9 p.m. Central, we are starting up probably like a 1 month, maybe around 4 to 6 episodes, that type of thing, that kind of range, as we're going to do an operation there. So if you want to catch more Delta Green, I'll be running it for a different cell of agents. It's not going to be Impossible Landscapes. It'll be something else. So come take a look. And I guess it's time then to introduce these characters. So here's my question for you as you introduce your characters, right? We have this thing in this game, and I've mentioned this before. I think they're very important that we come back and we touch on these things from time to time. And I think we're at one of those times again. There's these things in game called motivations, right? It has a mechanical impact on the game. There's like this balance between the disorders that you accrue from breaking points with your sanity, and whether or not you can kind of keep those motivations. The idea being the more sanity loss you have, the more disorders you accrue over the course of a game or campaign. Sometimes you lose motivations, right? So I am curious, what motivations you all have left? Because I think everyone at this point should have roughly 3 disorders. Some of you might have different, but I think it's 3 apiece. I'm curious what you have left. Like, what is left pushing you to kind of go on and not just to sort of give up? So we'll go in order of the overlay, and we'll start with Ashley. Ashley, who are you?
I'm Agent Chelsea. There's not much left to Chelsea. Her SAN, I did get a little bit back. I'm at 32 out of 94 now, which is pretty awesome. My health is still pretty low. I got 6 now. But she has left investigating the unnatural and protecting innocence from unwelcome truths.
Do you think that you have done the latter, the second one?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you've definitely done the first for sure. Like, you've investigated the unnatural. Like, that's undoubtedly like your driving force. I'm just curious if the second one has come into play at all. Okay, cute.
No,
cool.
I had some other ones, but they're gone now. That I was trying to use, and I kind of hit them, I think. But this one's the one not so much, so I left it. So I'd have to work on it.
Okay. Curious to see how it manifests, and don't forget, like I've mentioned this before, that one of the ways you can get willpower back. And you all will start needing to. You're going to be burning a lot of willpower these days, to keep that sanity loss at bay. You had like max sanity, because I remember you got the lucky roll, and you got like all that max sanity back when we did our between.
Yeah, I got all 3 6s.
Yeah, so, so don't forget, like, if playing strongly to them could potentially gain back like willpower, and you use the willpower to kind of offset some stuff here and there. So offset sanity loss, offset disorders, breaking points, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, let's go over to Vessel. Same question for you, Long. Who are you? Who are you playing? And what's going on with I don't know, with his motivations?
Yeah, I'm playing Vessel, and motivations I have are revenge against the unnatural. Also, showing others how it's done are my two that are remaining.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I don't think they've really come into play yet.
Yeah, the revenge against the unnatural, is there like do you think about like a specific like incursion or a moment in Vessel's past or some kind of incident that he had? It could be from this campaign or it could be something else that is sort of like the sort of the driving force for that, like the impetus for like this desire to get revenge.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like how this unnatural getting like raveled into it. It's kind of like broken up my relationship with my sister, and like I have no one left, sort of deal. So my only thing is to get back at it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, Derek, for those gift subs. Very nice of you. Speaking of Derek, he's next up. Derek. Oh yeah, I think it's about that time, Tool to Twitch. It's Melissa's birthday. Tomorrow's Long's birthday, so whew, okay. Derek, who are you playing? And yeah, what's left to motivate Album?
Yeah, so I'm still playing Agent Album. And yeah, he was always a bit out there, not the most charismatic individual. So the only thing that keeps him going is discovery. Hasn't let go of that. That's what made him the astrophysicist he was back in the day. And then outside of that, he still has conspiracy theorizing that will never leave him. He'll lose his discovery before he
That's
loses
his
that.
core.
Yeah,
that's everything he is.
Yeah, if he loses all of his sanity, he's just gonna be like curled up in a ball somewhere, just like ranting all kinds of crazy theories. It'll be great.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. And then finally, we've got the birthday girl, woman, gal, Melissa. Bold flavor. We've got so yeah, introduce your character, and then yes, we've started a tradition. Tradition unlike any other, where when it's someone's birthday, Too Old to Titch drops some bits, and I sing them happy birthday in a character voice, and that's kind of how this is gonna work. So Melissa, who are you? Who are you playing first? Who's Fawn? What's motivating her? And then whose voice am I singing this in?
So Fawn is works for the National Park Service, historian, archaeologist, all of that good stuff. She started off low on motivations anyway. Because of taking the veteran and whatnot, so I literally just had like new motivation and just crossed off. One of her motivations had been never letting her parents down, which I think she failed miserably in the chapter 1 to chapter 2.
Yeah, is that the one that's still that's one you still have?
No, that's one that I used to
okay,
have
sorry.
that I have failed.
Gotcha.
So the only one that's left is protecting family from a dangerous person. And I hadn't necessarily figured out who that is, but I think it's just trying to protect my nieces from like all of this stuff that's going on.
I mean, if it's got to be a specific person, there's no the King in Yellow is a name that keeps popping up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could be something more specific than that if you like, but
Yeah, I think that's where I've landed.
I saw Jeff's face. He's like, all right.
That'll work for now.
That for later. Kill her nieces.
Yeah, this is just like
I had that for a while.
What's that game that we played where he immediately killed her brother?
Mutant Zero?
Yeah.
Episode 1, he's like,
Episode 1, you're a terrible
motivation. Protect younger brother. Oh, really?
I'll have you know
that against this raid.
I'll have you know, I didn't kill him. I just abducted him. And
that's right, you lobotomized
him.
The lobotomized him, and the Watchers did all sorts of awful things. And then eventually you recovered him. And cliffhanger, we haven't been back to that game in a while because of scheduling.
Been living in a tree.
That's true, but he's out. Everything's fine. He's out. What's okay? Well, okay, fine. He's just living a different life now. He's somebody new. Stop living in the past.
I was Bessie, I think, right? That's how it was.
That was at the end, yeah, because I got to kill Derek.
I had frog legs. I was very excited.
We'll get back to that game at some point.
20 times every episode.
All right, Melissa.
So-
who's your choice?
Yeah.
Oh, what were we?
Poison.
I don't know.
What
It's
we
your
tried
birthday.
Earlier in
Oh.
the week, Babbo.
Okay, we'll take Babbo. So, speaking of
just want
Garblike
crackers,
games,
I'd
Babbo is the name of a elephantine priest that I played in a short-lived game of 5e using Skullcano Island. He got smashed by a giant kaiju, like a multi-headed King Kong type of thing. And also, I've used it as my Hobbit voice, like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna sing now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Melissa. Happy birthday to you.
Yay.
Thank you.
There we go.
Happy birthday.
There we go. That is actually one of my favorite voices
Oh,
because I just
beautiful.
naturally in a good mood whenever I use it. Thank you very much. I can sing my Tuckborough Fair song. I won't. No, people are done listening to me sing. Until tomorrow,
We still
when
have
we might have to do it
tomorrow
again.
for
For
Mom's
long. So, all right, September. Whew, that's a rough month. All right, let's dive in. Let's start playing some games. So let's do the summary. We know the big thing. 1995 is when you all came together to investigate the disappearance of Abigail Wright. You discovered that her home, her building, the McAllister building, was somehow touched by the unnatural. You blew it up. That's kind of haunted album most of all, but everybody to some degree over the past 20 years. You've come back together here in 2015, brought together by Agent Exeter to investigate the disappearance of what was initially billed as psychiatric patients, but you learned was basically Delta Green agents named Agent Vega / Michael Whitworth. This is information that you guys have kind of stitched together over time. You eventually got caught up in the Dorchester facility, where it seemed, as far as you guys knew, you were patients for an indeterminate amount of time, and you were kind of stuck there at night. You did some group therapy. Album had some kind of solitary confinement. Chelsea had some weird red patsu residue stuff pulled out of her eye. Fawn heard the voice of her sister through a speaker saying either she was dead or she's in Carcosa or both, or who knows what. Vessel saw like marionette people and nearly got destroyed by a giant clown that just kept getting bigger and bigger. You eventually got out. And this was basically last episode. You found yourselves in Boston in a what looked like a home that was for sale, and you found some strange. You didn't find a ton of strange things, but you did find like there was a demonic sigil in the area. When you broke out of the house fairly easily, Album nearly got run over by a neighbor because he was chasing down what looked like some kind of figure that was watching you all. And by the time he was able to kind of look up again after getting knocked over, that figure was now gone. A couple of you have seen that figure as well. It looked like it was a person in an army jacket and a gas mask, something like that. And anytime you tried to get closer to it, they would just either disappear or they'd walk away, something like that. Album and Chelsea went to urgent care to try to get some recuperation. That did not go so well, as Chelsea's fairly strange injuries and a shoddy cover story, unfortunately, it was not a very good cover story, drew the attention of the healthcare workers, who then brought this up, and kind of transferred you over to a proper hospital, alerted the police because of gunshots. You mentioned that you had been a victim of a recent alley gunshot crime. And so like that, suddenly everyone was interested. You decided to tap back into go back to the well with Alan B. Williams, the lawyer who got you out of your issue with the police before. Somehow you just kind of sensed where he was. Like you didn't have anything other than just a feeling. It's just some strange feeling came over there, as if you knew where he was and you were able to, by knowing where he was, kind of track down a phone number for him and call him. And he came and he helped, but he said, this is the last time. Like, this is it. Like, you're not getting any more help from him.
I guess you could say that was more than a feeling.
Oh God. And have a good night. Everyone have a good night. We'll see ya. Those are the types of things that destroy streams. Speaking of destroying streams, Album was seeing graffiti all flickering, kind of calling to him in strange ways. You saw like a world, a window, a clock with the time 6:16 and someone sleeping in a bed. Vessel and Fawn, you returned to your hotel where Vessel did some reading, some light reading, The Phantom Saith, which was like this strange scrapbook that told the story of The King in Yellow, the play. But it was created by Henry Samagina, a 16-year-old kid who killed his dad, and then his father, who was like bloated and gross and dead as a corpse, dictated the events of the play to him, and that's how he was able to get the play into his scrapbook.
Didn't he, like, cut it out too, like little
Yeah.
serial killer notes?
Yeah, like out of like Cosmos and like teen magazines and things like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's
let-
horrifying.
Let's see. Fawn was messing around with radios, trying to find the voice of her sister. And the session ended with Album failing to hack into a U.S. Navy personnel database for Captain C. Hamilton Chester, and that attempt possibly being logged by site security. And then Album decided to go back to his trailer outside the city. Vessel and Fawn were going to go ahead and go to bed soon. Chelsea got to leave the hospital, and as she was leaving, she briefly noticed a figure at a bus stop wearing a gas mask. So... Album, your journey to your I think you took a taxi, right? Didn't you take a taxi? Is that what you decided? Like a proper taxi, not like a Uber or anything like that. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, they could track you with that.
Okay.
No apps for Album.
So you get into Metro Cab, you give the address, and your journey is fairly uneventful. A couple times they kind of ask you some questions and stuff like that, but I presume that Album is tight-lipped about anything. Like, what are you doing out here? Oh, kind of a strange time of night to be, it's just kind of small talk, but also for the conspiratorial person might think, oh, this is a little too personal.
Yeah.
Okay. But you get back to your trailer. You take a cursory glance at everything, see if things were they're supposed to be, and as far as you can tell, at this time of night, doesn't look like anyone's been here in a week at least. Doesn't seem like anyone's done anything of note, but everything looks to be in order. So, do you do anything for the rest of the night, or do you just crash for the night and get some sleep?
So Album will take the hard drive out of his computer and he'll just completely destroy it like a hammer, like a claw hammer, just break it up. And he'll pull a spare hard drive out of one of his little drawers he's got built into his trailer, and essentially just load up a fresh OS on his laptop. He'll also do a fresh reset on his smartphone because it's really connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and he's just that paranoid. So he basically nukes all of his tech and hardware. And while he's waiting for that stuff to finish, he'll walk around with one of those mirrors on a stick and check the underside of his trailer for any trackers or anything.
Okay. Roll a search test.
That is a critical success, 22.
Okay.
I find a wasp nest.
No, you do not find a wasp nest. You do, in fact, find, and it's you do find, we'll call them boot prints. Nothing underneath your trailer specifically. But you do find boot prints scattered about your trailer specifically. It doesn't look like anyone broke in, but it looks like someone came by here. And not just someone, but several. Like at least 3 or 4 different people might have been here. And you take a look at the boots, and you can tell that these are more than likely not just your average climbing boots. They look more like you would probably peg them as like proper gear, like something that vessel might wear or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, I was
I'm
about
giving
to say-
this you're getting because of the critical. I'm just giving you the extra info, right? The idea that they look like they could be proper gear for like officials, like military official, law enforcement official, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So no, like, which instead they're like, do they have like the ridge cut, like pattern or whatever, like hiking or like steel-toed boots, that kind of thing?
Jeff doesn't know the details, but I'm just going to say
Okay.
that there's something about the pattern that suggests to you that these aren't just commercial brand, like just at anyone. They're not like Timberland boots or anything like that, but they look
Right.
more like something that are kind of organizationally issued of some kind.
Album will snap a photo of like, am I able to tell how many sets there are, or like how many people approximately?
With
be
the
like
critical
forensics?
success, I'm going to say 4. You're probably going to be able to distinguish 4 sets. But you do also notice, in addition to those 4 sets, you do see that there's also 1 set of like dress shoes. Like, just
Okay.
like, just
Slack
something someone would
shoes,
wear
yeah.
with a suit or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then he'll snap photos of like each person's shoe or footprint, and then also like get a measuring tape and just see like what size they are.
Okay.
And then am I able to see where they go into like the woods? Like, can I do this? Is there a
Yeah,
trail?
you can
left?
track them back just fine, but they don't go into the woods. They seem to go to what looks like a parking, kind of a parking area, where not for trailers themselves, but you can see like they kind of maneuver through some sort of dusty paths, and they get to kind of a parking area near where there's like the leasing office or like the rental office. So like there's a guest parking spot.
Okay. But nothing, no dropped items or any other types of things that I'm able to find while following these footprints. Okay.
No, nothing like that.
And they went up to the rental offices. I'm assuming this is closed right now since it's like
Yeah, it's
in
late.
the middle of the night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like, it's around midnight for you.
Okay. So then Al will just go
it's
back.
closed.
Yeah. He'll go back. Well, no, yeah. He'll go back to his trailer, and while his, he's letting all of his tech like reset and whatnot, he's just gonna sleep since he's had a very eventful like past couple of nights.
Okay, fair enough. And so yeah, you go back inside and you go to sleep.
You're sleeping by yourself.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, don't worry, Ashley. He's not by himself.
Oh, God.
Chelsea. Chelsea, you leave the hospital.
Yeah.
You see this figure
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the bench or leaning up against the bus stop area.
Yeah.
You see a ambulance kind of come past, like pause for a moment, like in traffic in front of it, blocking sight. And then it continues, and by the time the ambulance continues, you look, and you can just see that there's like 2 people that are sitting there, neither of whom are dressed anything remotely like the figure you saw.
Okay. Yeah, then I probably head back to the hotel where all my stuff's at.
Okay. Yeah, I have you guys at being at the Hampton Inn
Hilton or
Boston
Hampton.
Crosstown Center,
Okay.
which is about 15 minutes north of Dorchester. And I think I was putting you in terms of urgent care at Mass General Brigham Urgent Care, which isn't too far away. So you take a late night bus. I don't know if they work 24 hours. We'll say they do. It's a big city. And you make it back to the hotel. When you get there, I believe that we have been doing like a Chelsea and Fawn in one room, Vessel and Album in the other. I think we've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into the room, Fawn, what are you doing? And Vessel, are you still there? Because I know the 2 of you are working together on like going through some evidence and things. But would Vessel have returned to the other room, or would he have stayed and kind of worked on this? It's around midnight-ish.
I would have left after I finished up.
Okay, so you went back to your room. So Fawn, what would you be doing by yourself? You've been here by yourself. We'll say for like an hour maybe, and Chelsea walks in. What would Fawn be doing right now?
I think she was probably asleep. I think the last thing that I did was finally crashed.
All right. So you go inside. The lights are off. You get the hallway light, Chelsea, that's kind of cutting through the darkness of the room.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that some of the, like, you notice that as you kind of get yourself situated, maybe you use like the light. You have like a burner phone or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a flip phone. I can't remember. Did we say flip phone or
No,
or
we all
smartphone?
had smartphones.
Okay. And so maybe you're using like the flashlight setting or like just the ambient light of the screen to kind of lead your way there. And you notice that the alarm clock has been kind of busted. You can not busted as like it's been systematically deconstructed in some way. It's still working. Like you can still see the light of the numbers, the digital red lights, but it's been systematically deconstructed. But you also see Fawn laying in the bed and looks like she's sleeping.
Chelsea probably wouldn't approach her immediately. She's tired. She feels ick, so she's probably gonna shower and then also get in bed.
Okay.
But like, also kind of like does that like awkward thing where she like checks to make sure that like Fawn is Fawn as she kind of like looms over her in bed, you know.
And that's when the
Okay.
skinwalker smiles widely at you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking back through the rolls last week to see if I did my sleeping rolls to see if I am actually sleeping.
We haven't. We'll take care of that in a second. Don't worry about it just yet. We'll take care of that in a minute. Okay. So everyone's basically going to bed. I need everybody to go ahead and roll a sand test.
Oh God! Just for sleeping?
Yeah, hold on. When did sleeping become dangerous?
Sleeping's
Yeah.
always been dangerous. For
So the
For me,
rule
it's always
is
been dangerous.
this
Oh,
is
thank God I
actually
succeeded.
Delta Green rule. The first time you try to sleep after gaining a new disorder, which all of you have done, and this is the first time you've tried to
Oh.
sleep, you actually have to roll a sand test to see if you can. And so let's roll.
crit failure.
Oh my
100.
God.
Okay.
You get 100 flies
So,
buzzing in your
My
eyes.
new disorder is anxiety.
How did Vessel and Fawn do? I saw Album passed. Vessel and
Yeah, I
Fawn
failed as
had
well.
two.
Failed.
Vessel failed. Okay, so
Uh,
Album.
I like how Album passed after there's boot marks. He's like, it's fine. I'm going to crash.
It's something about that the fresh air of nature. You're out of the city.
You're in your camper. That's
You're
your...
hearing the birds.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
great. And you fall asleep. The rest of you, however, Chelsea, as you come in and you take a look, Fawn, your eyes open and you can kind of see her, but you try to kind of go to bed nonetheless. I'm gonna start with Vessel. So Vessel, you lay down in your room. There's two beds in here. You see Album's not returned. Didn't really say where he was going necessarily, but it's Album. You know that he's a little bit of a loner. He kind of does his thing when he wants. And you try to sleep. Maybe you took a shower, maybe you didn't. And you're not sure how long you're down, but at some point you start realizing that like the room isn't the room. You look around and just sort of the bed's gone, the TV's gone. It's just like this big black area of darkness. A light suddenly emits and you look and you can see this small childlike clown slowly lurching towards you. And like it's just kind of a peculiar proportions. It doesn't seem like distance is really making a lot of sense because he keeps walking. You think he's like right next to you. You think it's a child, but then suddenly he's roughly your height, and then your height, and then he gets a little bigger and bigger, and you realize that you're starting to be chased once more by this clown that just gets increasingly tall. And more than once, it reaches out and manages to wrap this kind of strangely warm, not hot, not cool, not cold, but warm hand just wraps around you, and you can see as the skin begins to ripple, and whatever portion of the body, whether it's the wrist, the forearm, whether he grabs, lurching out and grab you by the ankle, just explodes in this radiant firework of red patsu that is both incredibly painful but at the same time, like, there's a kind of this strange and bizarre like pleasure that kind of overtakes you as it happens. And bit by bit, he just keeps reaching out and kind of tagging you as you're running away, to the point where you have your arms are no longer functional, your legs no longer functional, you're just kind of crawling. And he stands towering like 50 feet over top of you, and this massive hand that's the size of your whole body just reaches down like it's about to smush you. And you lurch up in bed, cold sweat. You look around. It's about 45 minutes after you laid down to go to sleep that night. It's not even 1 a.m. yet. You feel like the spots, you start like feeling the spots on your arms and stuff, and you can see that there's like this red, almost like someone's been like kind of rubbing them. It's kind of blotchy, it's, you know, with this the blood's just been sort of pooling in that area. And what this means is that you're unable to sleep tonight, as you keep having these flashbacks to this. Every time you fall asleep, you wake up again. Fall asleep, wake up again. And the entire night passes for you in this manner. Unless there's something that you wanted to do in the interim. Like if one of these times you woke up in the middle of the night. If there's something
I'll
you
go stand in the shower for like a couple hours.
Okay. You go into the bedroom and into the bathroom. Turn the shower on. Shower starts raining down, hitting the bathtub. And more than once you look over towards the mirror, and there's something about the dripping of the water. You look over and you just see like the faintest and most subtle ripple in the surface of the mirror.
I'll just throw the bar of soap at it.
Okay. You watch the bar of soap get lodged in the middle of it. It just halfway in, you see a ripple. It doesn't go all the way through, but just a little bit gets stuck in.
I'll just be frustrated at it. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And I'll just stay in the shower for how many hours.
Okay. And so you go and you take a shower for the next like 5 hours. Fantastic.
I have to ask though, are you like peering through like the curtain, like just like
He's fully clothed, just sitting there. Just
That's wonderful. Okay. Chelsea, you eventually lie down. Yeah, you eventually lie down and try to get some sleep. Maybe you notice that Fawn's awake, maybe you don't. Doesn't really matter, but you try. By the time you're down, it's 1 a.m. And you lay down and you think you fall asleep. And at one point you try to roll over and you can't, because you feel your arms are suddenly pinned down. And you look around as your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, and you see that these heavy leather straps are keeping your arm in place. You look for the comforter of the blanket from the hotel. You look for the sheet, and you don't see any of these things as you're on this cool metal gurney. And you see shadows moving about. You can't even really see faces, but you do hear this clacking sound.
oh, the marionette.
And as you're there watching these shadows move about, one of them eventually kind of lumbers and lopes over towards you, and another one comes to the other side, and another one comes to the other, so they're flanking you. Two of them are kind of pinning down your shoulders a bit, and you can see like their hands where the separations are between the wood. You can see the strings coming off at the tips of their knuckles, and they're just holding your shoulders down, while a third one lumbers close with this massive syringe that they just jam violently into your face underneath your eye and just start pulling out this patso. Another one of those comes up with another syringe and jams, and then another one, and over again until the room is just completely filled with these marionettes. And at long last, like, they kind of depart, and there you are, like, in the room all by yourself. You hear this distant gong sound, and you can see all of the marionettes start scurrying away like roaches. A door opens up, you didn't even know there was a door, and you see this figure, this silhouetted figure. They step in light from somewhere, and you can see this kind of pale, almost gold mask as they kind of get closer and closer. The gong hits again, and you're up and awake in the middle of your hotel room. The clock reads 1:30. You've been asleep for maybe 20 to 30 minutes.
God.
Fawn, if she didn't wake you up a couple times, maybe before Chelsea arrived, you were also trying to sleep. And you don't know when you fell asleep, maybe you did, maybe you don't. You just was kind of there staring at that clock, and you're suddenly just not laying down anymore. You're just wandering these long, empty, dark hallways of some kind of hospital. You hear this distant dirge echoing ever so faintly off of what sounds like dripping water, wrenches being turned, vents being kind of kicked out and rattling against the ground. And then static begins to crackle on the intercom. This voice tries to come through, and you can't quite hear it, but you keep kind of chasing around, listening for it. But as you move, you realize quite quickly that your feet, which are barefoot at this point, are no longer hitting like linoleum tile, and you look down and you can see that it's like this hard caked earth. It's some kind of underground stone or dirt maze of some kind, caverns. And as you're moving about, you see like every now and then in these different alcoves or embedded into the wall of rock, you see like a bottle every now and then. And one of them kind of catches your eye because like this little light is on it. You hear the sounds of like scurrying about, somebody near you. You see others moving here and there, but you can never quite grasp the same moment when they move and your eyes meet. You can't quite see them. Everything's just sort of a blur in the periphery. And you notice that there is a bottle stopped with cork that's sealed with this melted yellow wax. And it catches your eye because it's marked with the yellow sign.
Okay.
And as you reach down to kind of take a look at it, you feel something just grab your shoulder, whip you around, and that's when you burst up. You look over, you see Chelsea. She's like leaning against the headrest, or the backboard of the bed, not sleeping either. 1:30 in the morning. The two of you are wide awake. Roll a luck test, Fawn.
That's a failure. 59 over 50.
Okay. You remember there being a name on the bottle, but you can't remember the name. What are the three of you that are awake at night? I know what Vessel's doing. What do Chelsea and Fawn do for the rest of the night?
I would say if Fawn wakes up and sees Chelsea there, I think Fawn's just gonna kind of need a debrief of the day because like she knew that things were going on, but
Okay.
So I think Fawn is just gonna 20 questions Chelsea about like how the day went and like
Okay.
how did you get caught and what did you do and
Okay. We don't have to like
Yeah.
play out everything.
I don't
But if there's
know how
something in
much-
particular, yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to know. I don't know how much Chelsea would actually like divulge though. She'll give you like some answers, but like a lot of it she's just like, I fucked up, like
Mm-hmm.
it's bad. Like, and then she'll probably pull out her laptop and she's gonna start like some research into the guy that we're looking for.
What guy?
What's his name? The military guy.
Captain C. Hamilton Chester.
Chester, yeah.
You can choose to do what Album did and try to get into some prioritized naval databases, personnel files and stuff, or you can just do like a basic internet search. It's up to you.
I good question.
Did you? What was your profession? Like intelligence or like your
Yeah.
first?
Intelligence
Yeah.
analyst, I think.
Yeah. So my computer science is 77.
It's up to you. Like, it's up to you. You just tell me what kind of information you're looking for. Like, if you're trying to do something if it's something that's accessible to anybody, so if it's on like websites and stuff like that, then anybody can Google search for, like, that's an N times 5 role. If you're trying to do
Yeah.
something more than that and that has potential risk to it, then I'm going to want a role of computer science, which is sort of like what Album was doing. So it's your call.
His encrypted military laptop.
Which you wouldn't be able to access now because you actually have to get the laptop. So
Yeah,
but you're
yeah,
still
yeah.
just trying to locate him. Like, who is he? Where is he? You don't even have that basic information. All you have is his name.
Yeah. I'm gonna start. She'll start like like just a basic internet search to see like,
Okay.
is he even in this state?
Rolling in times 5. Okay.
That's a success. 78.
78 under 85. Okay. Sure. So you've got nothing else to do. And so over the course of the next few hours throughout the night, you spend some time. And even though, like I was saying to Album, no real... oh, you're really, really tired. That's actually a good point. So all of your rolls, by the way, when you guys don't get sleep, is going to be a minus 20.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
so that's a failure.
I'll say for now, since that was immediately, like, this isn't like 9 o'clock in the morning. This is just something you're doing instead. I'll say this one can go through, but come dawn, let's say, like that
Yeah.
that penalty will be in effect. Okay, so you effectively what you do is you there's no social media specifically for C. Hamilton Chester. However, you do manage to, over the course of time, find and collect information from a few different places. One of those places is like social media of some other younger military folk, and others is from actually the very place he works, and he is local. He works at a Navy Operational Support Center it's called NOSC Quincy, which is a U.S. Naval Reserve Center. Quincy is basically a suburb of the Boston metropolitan area, and so you start trying to dig through information on the NOSC and stuff, and where it's at. You get an address, so you know exactly where it's at. It's about half an hour, 45 minutes from where you're at. About 45 minutes to an hour from where you're at, but it's still relatively local. You do some basic Google Maps searching. There's like a kind of a public works nearby. There's a youth center, some restaurants nearby. There's this big Broadmeadows marsh called, I'm not going to try to pronounce. Screw it, I'll try it. Passanagesset Park, which is at Broadmeadows Marsh. There's a cemetery nearby as well. Those are kind of like surrounding areas. There's no like active kind of naval base area. It's not like some sort of like highly secure area. It's just a reserve center, a naval reserve center. You find that he's kind of looks like he's in his late 40s or early 50s from what you can tell. You kind of take a look at him. You get a picture of him eventually at some kind of ceremony that seems to be on the deck of an old naval ship. It's in sort of a nearby like historical area. But he looks to be a Caucasian guy in his late 40s, early 50s, something like that. So you got basic info on him.
Cool. But now
Okay.
we actually like know what he looks like and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me see if I have
Kind
a
of.
picture. Do I have a picture? I think I have a picture. Yeah, I got a picture. You kind of know what he looks like. He's got tentacles just coming out of everything.
Every orifice.
Yeah. Let me share this with everybody. There you go.
Okay.
For a second, that kind of like Charlie Sheen when I glanced over.
Charlie Sheen. In the Navy, huh? Well, he wasn't Hot Shots. I don't remember if they were in the Navy and Hot Shots. What that was. Okay. Fawn, what would you do with... So we've got Vessel, who's taking a very, very long shower. She's going to be incredibly clean, but also wrinkly. Chelsea, who's doing some research while her brain's still working. Fawn, what are you doing?
So I have a procedural question. So
Sure.
I was rolling because it's the first time that I slept after getting a new disorder. But then I also have to roll because of the sleep disorder.
Mhm.
Does it just, since the first thing said that I don't sleep, then I don't actually have to roll for the sleep disorder because I'm already obviously not sleeping?
Yeah, I'm not. You're not going to
Okay.
get hit by both. No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
That's crazy.
So the
Now,
interesting
technically, if
thing-
you wanted to, you can go downstairs and see if they have any sleeping pills or get a bottle of booze and try to drink your way back to sleep, which can give you a bonus, but it also makes you sick the next day. So you're hungover or you've got something like that. And it has the potential to cause like addiction and things. But you're
Yeah.
welcome to try to do that. I know that's not really a Melissa thing, but
I'm thinking
maybe
I
it's a
may need
Fawn
to
thing.
do that because with the sleep disorder, you're exhausted, and an exhausted agent loses 1d6 WP,
Mm-hmm.
and I only have 2
Okay.
at the moment. So
So
I think
okay.
I may have to force myself to get some sleep.
So do you want to do booze or pills? Sleeping pills or booze?
Pills.
Okay. So we'll say you go across the street. There's a 24-hour pharmacy. You find some Tylenol PM, something like that. You take it back. You go through the lobby. Very few people are awake at this point. But you go upstairs to your room. You pop a couple. Go ahead and try to roll that sand test with a plus 20 now.
Alrighty. Just rolling it straight. And that's a fail no matter what way.
Okay.
Got it. 68 over 19.
Okay. So you are still unable to get any sleep.
And
Oh.
I still now get the 20%.
Yep.
I think, because of the pills.
Yes, you will.
And I'm still at some point going to take a 1d6 WP
Mm-hmm.
minus.
For not sleeping.
So now that I'm
For the sleep, that's for exhaustion. Yeah, for exhaustion.
All right, so now that I'm up and still up, so can I try to trying to think back to that motivation thing. Can I try to do some like social media stuff with my nieces? Like try to kind of
Yep.
search what they've been
Yeah, I
up
mean,
to
you can
lately.
find them. I don't see why. I mean, like, unless
Not
you
searches
think.
so much as like going on their profiles and like making sure that they're, you know, they haven't posted pictures of the yellow sign on a telephone pole or something like that.
Yeah, you start creeping on your niece's Insta pages, and was it 2015? Facebook's still a thing that young people do, I guess. What, 6 years ago? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get pictures of both of them. You see them in activity. One of them, I think, we said was a lacrosse player at like University of Maryland or something like that. So you see things like this. Nothing out of the ordinary. Recent posts. You don't see anything that would suggest to you that they have seen the yellow sign. As you saw on Ophelia Citry's Facebook page.
Yep. Trying to tug on that motivation a bit for whatever that might get me back in some willpower.
Okay. So usually, like I would say, like, if you're trying to angle for that kind of willpower, I would probably say that the RP needs to be
Like a little more
I would
actively reaching out to
yeah,
them?
just a little bit more active, or like would kind of manifest in a situation where like you make a hard choice for that specifically, as opposed to just, you know, I sit around and
Okay.
and look at some stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So the three of you that didn't sleep, go ahead and roll a d6 and lose that much willpower.
What happens if I roll a...
Yeah, can this D6 be
Anything
rerolled
other
with some of
than
the
a one?
rerolls that we had from last session?
Yeah, I'll take that
have-
for the rerolls. Yes.
we have
Only
one
thing I say no
reroll.
to is sand and luck, because those are just, you know, it is what it is.
All right, we have
But
3
skill
rerolls.
attributes. Okay. So take that amount of willpower. Vessel took 3. I see Chelsea and Fawn. What are you two doing?
I rolled
1 for
exactly what I
Chelsea.
needed. I have 1 willpower left.
Vessel
comes
might
the
as well
6.
re-roll.
You don't need a roll, Album, by the way. You're good. You slept.
Yeah.
How did you roll there? Would you roll, Melissa?
A 1, which was the only thing I
Oh,
could get
perfect.
and leave me with willpower.
Okay, so you guys take that amount of
Yeah.
willpower. Morning comes. However, at some point, Chelsea, Fawn, despite the fact that you all were working, I treat sleeplessness like not like you're just awake every single second of every night, but you're kind of like dozing up, which I think is sometimes even worse than just staying up
It's
the whole time.
awful.
Yeah, I hate that.
And being productive.
Mm-hmm. So you wake up, the two of you in your room, and Fawn, maybe you're the first who notices this, but you wake to like this overwhelming static in the room, and it's just like echoing. And then Fawn, and then Chelsea, you're up shortly thereafter, like seconds after that. But it's as if the radio alarm clock is going off, but instead of like this like the standard annoying beep or like an actual radio station, it's just this heavy piercing static. And it's almost like echoed by the fact that the TV is on. Neither of you remember putting the television on. You might have, who knows? But the TV is got that kind of black and white snow background to it, characteristic of old tube televisions not connecting properly, and it's just like loud and just destroying your ears at the moment.
Oh, this reminds Chelsea of her ghost hunting days.
Aw.
You know,
Hey,
the
Chuck, what's
ghost
going on, man?
walks.
So Fawn is going to go over to the radio.
Okay.
And she'll just kind of cradle the radio and just be like, Ariana? And she'll just try
You
to
just talking to it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chelsea, yeah, you watch her talk
Yeah,
into
what?
this.
What the fuck are you doing?
My sister. I heard her when we were in Dorchester. I heard her, and I was trying yesterday. You weren't here, but yesterday I was trying to just find her on the radio. I've got to be able to find her again. Maybe she's not dead. Maybe she's in Carcosa, and she can tell us how to get there.
This is a lot to unpack.
Just shh.
Maybe.
Shush. I can't hear when you're talking.
Okay.
No, it's really, really loud, by the way. To the
Yeah.
point where the two of you
No,
have
we're
to
like
speak.
yelling.
Yeah, you don't have to full on yell, but you have to speak really loud to one another to be able to actually hear this.
Can I turn off the TV?
Yeah,
Don't
get up.
don't do that.
Okay.
Just change the channel. Maybe she'll come up on that. I'll do the radio and you do the TV. Just change the channel. See if you can find her.
Okay.
I don't know your sister. I know, and
Like, does that matter? I told you I could hear her. Like, do you have to know her to care? Just change the channel.
and Chelsea's just like, okay, and she just
Okay.
starts to.
Start changing the channel. Click,
Mhm.
click, click. We zoom in on the TV. We zoom back out, and we're in Vessel's hotel room. As Vessel, TV's on in your room. You didn't get any sleep. You're
I dozed
very
off in the
clean.
shower a bit. I woke up.
You nearly drowned in the shower. Wake up. You come out and you throw the TV on really quick, just sort of check the news, and you're met by a fairly disturbing sight, Vessel, as like a local news report morning show, Boston, pops on. And you can see that there are these two kind of very mundane looking people in large shoulder pad suits who are reading news about local issues. And they say, you catch like the mid-sentence, and authorities are saying that the escaped mental patients are and should be considered very dangerous. They assaulted multiple staff members at the Dorchester house, and they apparently were able to brandish weapons of some kind. I think we have a picture of that. Yep. Authorities have just fed this to us now. And you see on the screen, you see 4 pictures. one for Vessel, one for Album, one for Chelsea, and one for Fawn. Your
God
names,
damn it, Jeff.
Vessel, your names, ages, likenesses, they're all entirely accurate. They've got your names that you've been using, Chelsea, Vessel, any other aliases that you might have been using recently in the presence of the Dorchester facility are up there as well. You see, Vessel, that the pictures themselves, they're kind of strange. You don't remember taking them, first of all, right? But they, more than that, like your expression is very empty. You've got normal clothing on. You don't even know if you've worn that type of clothing. It just looks like kind of like a polo shirt of some kind. Vessel, go ahead and roll a search. And Chelsea, as you're flipping through the stations, you stumble across the same broadcast. Album, you wake up, and I'm not going to say yours is a television, but you get a fairly similar radio broadcast. Maybe it's in your trailer, maybe it's through the window of a neighboring trailer, and you can hear them out having breakfast, and like their radio is blasting it. But you hear very definitively, for violent escapees from the Dorchester House facility, authorities are actively searching for them, and any information would be very useful. We got a 800 number here. If you have seen them, if you have interacted with them at all within the past a few days, please call this number. If you do see them, do not attempt to apprehend them yourselves. Immediately call authorities. Again, they are dangerous. There are several people at the Dorchester facility who are recovering from injuries sustained from having tried to work with these individuals. And Album, I mean, that probably catches your attention.
So I failed that search roll.
Okay. Chelsea and Fawn, you can make, or Chelsea, you can make it. Fawn, if you think you're aware enough that you can look over at the screen, you can do it too. And don't forget, this is where the penalties kick in for you all now. So minus 20 to your rolls.
Success, even with a minus 20.
Okay.
Failure either way, 94 over 42.
Chelsea, you notice that all four of you, again, you see that same empty expression. You don't even recognize the clothing that you're wearing. And you see that all four of you are carrying an object that looks like a bottle, but it's cut off by the cropping of the photograph. You do not recall taking this photo whatsoever. I need the three of you, not Album, the three of you to go ahead and make SAN rolls.
Oh.
Failure.
Failure.
1 point of SAN damage from the unnatural.
Okay.
Now, Fawn, specifically, you remember seeing in the night floors, all of you saw this actually. You saw photographs of people holding bottles.
Yep.
Older folks, some names you remember, some names you don't. Fawn, specifically, you saw a photograph of a bottle with your name, but you weren't there. There's not enough in this photo that you're looking at on the screen to be able to assess whether or not those bottles are the same, but maybe. What's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'd like to pack up and maybe put on like a disguise, like a hat top, sunglasses, sort of.
Yeah, we're in September, right? So it's like kind of cool weather.
Yeah, it's Boston, Northeast. I would say it's not super hot, but it's not, I mean, global warming, 2015. Yeah, sure. I mean, I would say it's maybe 70s, something like that. Who knows?
All right, Album will start wearing a beanie to cover his hair, and he's going to go on like a freelance website and try and find a hairstylist, and he's gonna look for the most expensive one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can. That's not going to require a roll. You can find a hairstylist nearby.
He's going to send them a
city,
message.
yeah.
He's going to send them a message and say, "Hey, like, want to get a service for me and potentially some friends, some hair dyeing, potentially haircuts. Would you be able to come to a location that I specify and let me know at your convenience? Like just a respectful like inquiry email. And then after he sends that, he's going to go and pick up coffee and donuts and bagels and bring them to the group.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a luck test to see if they're willing. Unless you wanted to roll a persuasion or there's something other, unless there's something that you want to do to affect the outcome of this, it's just going to be like a flip of the coin whether they're willing to come to you.
$500.
Yeah, Album will offer like I guess persuasion. He would offer like a significant sum of money.
Okay.
And just say like this is
Your
like,
own money.
You
have cash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll make up some story of like this is important for like some project or some like thing we're involved with.
Okay. So yeah, we'll say you offer something like maybe $200 or whatever, and yeah, you'll get. And so we won't do the roll. Where do you tell him to go?
So this is just inquiring if they're even willing to do so. And the Album wants to meet up with everybody else first to see if we want to meet at the hotel we're staying at or find a new location. So he'll wait for their response before giving that. Okay,
gotcha. So you leave, you get on the phone, and they're saying, "Yeah, just let me know the location. Let me know. $200, hell yeah, $200 plus normal fee, right? Plus normal fee.
Of course, yeah, plus tip. Yeah, you'll be taken care of.
All right, but yeah, they're willing to do it. Vessel, you said you were.
Yeah, I'm checking out this hotel because.
Okay, and you said you were going to change your appearance. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's just a quick like hat and sunglasses, just immediate.
All right.
Are you telling us that you're checking out of the hotel?
Yeah, I'll let you know I'm leaving.
Okay, just checking.
Why don't you roll as I just noticed something's a little bit off with your screen there. I got it. It's on me for not framing it well. Why don't you roll a disguise test? And I'll give you plus 20 in it, so it's just a straight roll. With whatever you have.
All right, my disguise is pretty low.
I noticed that, by the way. I noticed everyone has like 11 in disguise.
That's why I'm looking at the freelancers. We're gonna roll their stats.
Okay, so you you do your best to try to like kind of change your appearance with what limited supplies you have. You don't have a ton of them. Change your clothes a little bit, mess your hair up a little bit, that kind of thing. But there's only so much you can do. Chelsea and Fawn, what are you doing?
Well, if Vessel comes by to say that he thinks it's a bad idea that we stay here, then I think leaving is also a good idea. Do you agree, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Should we avoid being in a group when we're outside, though?
Yeah, it's probably going to attract a lot of attention, yeah.
My plan for the day is that I want to follow up on kind of all the information that was in the poem. Try to see if I can get some information of like where we're supposed to.
Yeah. No, I'm also interested in that, and I want to like. Who was that guy we're supposed to get a hold of?
I don't know. Who
From
do you mean?
the poem, is it? It's not JC Lynn's.
Yeah. So JC Lynn's was the name that was in the poem.
Yeah.
Find her at the hotel. When I had done some searching about her name came up in a like New York Mafia book, and there was an author. So we could try to get some information about that. Fawn is going to also text Album.
Okay.
And just say, did you see the news?
Okay.
Album is going to reply back, LOL, yeah.
Okay. So you guys are packing up everything. I just want to just do a quick pause here, and let's go through the things that you would be taking with you, because I want to keep track of what you have. So I tried to do a little inventory of like some key ingredients. You got mental illness in the workplace book that you acquired from the Dorchester House. You've got the Doiseme Bureau. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's like French military intelligence is sort of the group. You have that file. That was what you found in room 616 of the Boxer Hotel. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've like fully gone through it, but I think Vessel did like a quick look at it once. I don't know if you guys done a full read of it yet. There's The Phantom Saith, which is the book that Vessel just read yesterday. There's that machine that Agent Exeter that you guys snatched from Agent Exeter before you burned his house down. You've got the red book that's Chelsea's that had the play The King in Yellow that she got back in '95 and has kept with her all these years. You've also got the Libro Sectorum Manifesta, which is kind of like a brief look at it made it seem like it was also like an abbreviated form of the play that was also discovered in the Boxer Hotel in room 616. That was the thing that was slid across the room, I think, in the bathroom. A World Without Doors, which you've had since '95. It's Michelle Van Fitz's apartment. You got a history of the Russo-Germanic hegemony, 1911 to 1921. You got the English Totesian Dictionary. You've got A Horse by Degrees. Some of these books are just you recently acquired from the Dorchester. You've got Maud Goes to the Masked Ball, and you've got the Hydromanchaea, which is that really big, thick tome on demons. Like that's from the 15th century. That's what I have listed for you all. If there's something I'm missing, let me know. But that's what I have. So are you packing all of that up?
Definitely.
Okay. You've got all of it. Pack it up. Bags, suitcases, things like that. Sure.
We're gonna need to find a place to keep all this stuff.
My safe house, and I also want to like set up possible Airbnbs to stay at.
Okay. You've got like a public storage, like about 10 minutes away or something like that. I believe we did like a public storage for you when you first got here. So that's there. You can always get back. Kind of set that up as your own little green box where you have all, supplies and things like that. Then the Airbnb,
We need,
how
like,
do
a
you want to
safe
handle
house. More than like an Airbnb.
I mean, the benefit of an Airbnb is that like you don't see that like a hotel, someone is seeing you check in. So like an Airbnb, like if you're just setting it up online, then nobody actually sees us.
Yeah, could you just like set up an account? I don't know how exactly Airbnb works because I've never used it, but
Okay.
just like reserve rooms and you just access them.
Yeah, how are you
Like,
paying for
unless
it?
Chelsea knows of a safe house. Like Fawn wouldn't know of any safe houses.
You
here
guys
in
don't
this
know
area.
of safe houses? No. Like safe house is
Uh,
something you have to sort of make on your own. How are you paying for it, Vessel?
Could we do like Visa gift cards sort of deal? To like buy gift cards and pay under those.
Okay, so you're gonna run to like a.
We're gonna
I mean,
launder some money.
We established that there's a pharmacy across the street, so you can go and buy some gift cards. So you go to the pharmacy, you buy up like a mess load of gift cards with whatever cash you have, and yeah, we'll say you have a couple $100 worth of Visa gift cards. Okay.
Yeah, I like the Airbnb idea. Find us somewhere to stay without anybody knowing.
Album's going
Vessel-
to text Chelsea back and let her know about the freelancer that he got into contact with, so that if we do end up doing an Airbnb, Album 1 knows where to go and 2 knows where to send the freelancer.
I don't know if we want them to come there.
I figure,
I'll see what not.
yeah, I figure it's better than like going into like a public saloon or like shop or something. Like if we have our appearances changed in like a private location where I'm paying them a lot of money for like discretion, we could just say like, oh yeah, it's for like, it's government work. Can't really talk about it kind of thing. Like we could spin some kind of story.
Could we go to them? Like if they do freelance, like maybe they work out of their house? Maybe?
Yeah,
Like, worth a shot.
I could check that.
Vessel, as you're leaving the pharmacy across the street, we'll just call it a Walgreens. You step out into the sun. You kind of hear people chatting nearby. You see the street. You're kind of waiting at the crosswalk to cross back towards the side where the hotel is. As you're there, you're just peering around. You're looking. You see bus go by here and there. You see advertisements pop up for local radio shows and things like that. And as the bus passes by and you look down the street to the north, you're looking at what looks like I'm not sure exactly. It looks like some kind of kind of coffee outdoor kind of coffee house setting. Like you can see the tables and stuff that are set outside. Might be a Starbucks, might be a local chain, something like that. But you can see the outdoor seating. Like you have like a start as you're waiting there for the crosswalk to turn. As you notice the people that are sitting, you can see them kind of moving and shifting and ambling kind of awkwardly. You see the door open up, like this glass door open up, and you can see somebody steps out carrying what looks like four different cups of coffee, and you can see that they're kind of moving and shifting. And it's then that you realize that everyone out in that outdoor seating area in front of this coffee house, maybe 500 feet away or so, they look like the marionette that you were chasing through the halls of the Dorchester facility.
I guess I'll take a closer look at my cross.
Okay. So roll sand. Okay.
Okay.
Take one point of sand from the unnatural. 1 point of sand loss. As you go to cross, because this is going a different direction. As you go to cross, roll a luck test. Just straight luck.
I forget if that's a button or you just rolled even.
It's at the top of the window. Like if you look at your
Oh,
character
right.
sheet window at the very top.
Oh, great
Okay.
success.
Nice.
You as you just like boldly stride across the street as you're waiting for like the crosswalk in the other direction, you're lucky in that there's not only is there nobody coming, but it's like no one hits you. But you look left and right and it's completely empty. You start getting closer, about 30 feet closer, 50 feet closer. And you keep watching them. You see like as you're about maybe 300 feet away, you see a one of the tables that has like 3 people sitting. They suddenly stand up, and you can see them start shambling and moving, in their kind of awkward loping gait as they kind of turn and start walking in the direction away from you. It makes no sense because you see their strings, you see them moving. You don't see where it disappears up into because it's just open air above you. You see like one of the other groups just kind of get up as well, ever so casually, and they just go inside. And as you're like walking closer and closer, you're about 100 feet away, and you can see the group that got up and walked away from you. You can see them turning around the corner of a building at the end of the street. And then you walk a little closer, get about 100 feet away. Or excuse me, you get about like 10 feet away. You look inside of the coffee shop. You see there's about 7 or 8 people standing around. Some of them are working, some of them are waiting for their coffee. And all of them look like normal people.
I'll even go inside and like order a coffee.
Okay, go inside, you order a coffee. You hear nothing, no clacking. You look at them, they're talking to one another. Bump into somebody, even maybe accidentally, maybe intentionally, and they're people. While you're in here, though, you do hear the radio kind of go from playing what sounded like music to giving a news update as you're waiting to pick up. And you hear authorities are looking this morning for 4 escaped psychiatric patients. Yeah, it's like something out of some kind of fiction, some kind of novel or something on Netflix. Yeah, 4 escaped psychiatric patients
I'll
are...
take my leave when I hear that come on.
Okay, and you just leave. So Album, we'll
As soon
say
as she
you've
walked
made
in,
it...
I was like, oh crap, this is gonna go bad.
Album, you've made it to the hotel. You go inside and up to the room, or what?
Did I catch any messages about them leaving, or am I unaware of that?
Yeah, you
So I
would
know
get
that-
messages from them saying that they're going to think of leaving, but since they
Okay.
haven't come to a fair... I'm giving
Oh,
you guys
so
a
we're-
chance to get together as a group before...
Okay, I was just making sure they were still there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Album will walk in, and he has like 6 coffees. He's got 3 black coffees and then like 3 vanilla lattes if someone has like a sweet tooth, and then like some bagels and donuts because he slept. So like he woke up and he's like, oh, I'll do something nice.
Good.
Like disappeared. Has no idea what's happened. So
By the way, if you need to, I'm not sure if you need it, but you can roll a d6 and take that much willpower back from your good night's rest.
Oh, how nice is that?
1.
Get
Okay.
some
There we go.
willpower back. We do have a reroll. We do have 3 rerolls. I don't
That's
think
okay.
anybody used any yet.
No, it's
I don't
okay.
think you're that
I'm
far
good.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You make it into
So
the
Album will
room.
walk in and
Yeah.
he'll just say, like, being the always just kind of on the mission, he'll just say, okay, so Fawn knows this, but he'll look at Vessel and Chelsea. I've gotten into contact with a hairstylist. I mentioned doing haircuts, hair coloring, and he'll like pull the beanie off and he'll be like, because like this kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. So all we need to do is give them a location and they'll meet us there. I'm gonna pay them premium so that this is kind of like under wraps. I don't know how much time this will buy us, but I figure I told them it'll be a group of us. We can just mention like this is for some work that we're not at liberty to discuss. Maybe we're under an NDA. It's kind of up to what you guys want to do with this information.
That's fine. Just send them here. We got a place. We can always go
Okay.
to the next Airbnb.
Yeah, the
Okay,
less
yeah.
we tell them, the better. Like, let's not.
Yeah, that's why I'm just gonna let the money talk. And yeah, I mean we'll be polite, but hopefully they don't want to talk a bunch.
Part of
Okay.
me wants to say that like Album shows up right after Fawn was just like snapping at Chelsea for the whole like not helping thing, and so
He just walks in.
like,
He's like, I've got coffee and
Album's
donuts.
morning chipperness is just going to just grate on Fawn and just be like, well,
What a
did
beautiful temperature it was last night.
someone get a good night's sleep last night?
Album will just casually mention like, well, I had to delete my hard drive and destroy it, and then I had to wipe my phone. Yeah, it was a pretty good night. Got to mess with some tech stuff.
That's great. Fawn's a little cranky this morning.
Oh, I didn't mention this before, so if I need to go back to my trailer, I can do that. But Album was gonna bring with him his like video surveillance disruptor, and then he's gonna bring like an audio surveillance disruptor and like a battery for each in case we need to be in a place where we want like anonymity.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll say
Okay.
you'll say your brother with you. It's fine. Okay.
Def, I'm gonna go full babushka.
Okay.
Wrap
You
your
know.
head.
It
An
is
older woman.
it's a stylist, just so we know. Like it's not like
No.
Just
Before
trying to
we
leave the
it's,
hotel.
it's like a
The hotel.
it's like a makeup
Yeah.
artist for an FX studio or anything.
I got my own
Okay.
makeup. I got my own makeup.
Okay. So eventually, Vessel, you make it back, and the 4 of you are in this hotel, this Hampton Inn, together. And the door knocks. You answer the door, and in walks a 50-something-year-old man, kind of this sort of beautiful white hair combed really neatly tight in the sides. You can see that he's got like kind of tattoos on his forearms. But he's slender. He's carrying like this big bag, almost like a messenger bag over his shoulder, and like a small little tackle box filled with other product that he might need. As he introduces himself as Dana, and kind of looks at the room a bit, looks at the 4 of you, and says, "Okay."
Does he recognize? Do we see a look of recognition on his face?
You do not.
Has he seen the news? Okay.
You do not see a look of recognition in his face. But he's like, "All right, who's first?"
Album will just put his hand up and say, like, I'll get it over with. As you
Okay.
can tell, I will be a bit complicated with my condition.
So I'm not going to play this all out, but I'm basically going to make some rolls for you all in private.
Also, even we don't know?
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where I feel like,
Oh, no.
okay, no, you don't necessarily know their skill, but from what he's doing, he's got the scissors out and he's just kind of going crazy with it.
This is why I specified the most
He's
expensive
very
one.
skillful. Yeah, he seems
Okay.
very good at his job. by the end of it, all of you are fairly confident as you look at each other. And you definitely look different. Your hair is, your hair is different. That alone is enough. Some of you might have even gotten some highlights or some coloring done. The guys might
Album
have
is now a
gotten
nice
shaves.
chestnut
Yeah.
or a chestnut brown.
Yeah, maybe the guy's got like some shaves or something like that. So, I mean, you probably haven't shaved in quite some time. You probably all look like trash, by the way. Even Album, who got a good night's sleep. Even Vessel, who took a 14-hour shower. Like, I think to some degree, all of you look really, really terrible. But a couple hours go by, and of this, you pay them what they want, what they ask for, put a little bit on top, and you depart. They depart, and you feel enough that you feel like you look decent. You feel like you look decently different. Definitely different from the photos that you saw on the TV.
Keep in mind, Jeff, we have 3 rerolls, so if we need to spend one of those for that hidden thing, we would spend one for the hidden thing. If needed.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Good to know. Sometimes secret
So-
rolls are really fun. I gotta say, sometimes they're really, really fun. Okay. So
Album is go ahead.
midday. It's midday. What do you guys want to do?
Album's gonna look at everybody and just mention like, all right, whatever identities you've used in the past. How long have we been on this case? A week, 2 weeks now?
About a week, we'll say.
Okay.
About five,
So
6
album-
days. It's Tuesday, September 8th, I think.
Okay. He'll just mention like any names, aliases, identities that you've used in the past week. Like, don't carry that stuff on you in case we get stopped. It's already awkward enough having multiple identities. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in some way. So like, either burn it, shred it, or destroy it to where it's unrecognizable. And we're gonna have to come up with either a new alias to use in this amount of time, or you're gonna have to use your real name. And we'll just have to respect each other to not share that with each other.
All
Okay.
right.
Did they list our real name on the
They
thing?
listed the names that you use, any name that you would have used at the Dorchester. So like, or any name that you were referenced as in the in group therapy with Dr. Friend. So any
I
name you
don't remember
gave the
if Dr.
Dorchester at
Friend
any
called me
point.
Chelsea or not. Fuck.
Man, if only there was an audio-visual record of that.
Well, I can't go
of that.
re-listen while we're here.
No.
Yeah, I
And
already
I'll
tried
tell you.
that.
I'll
I
tell
couldn't.
you. I'll tell you specifically, Chelsea. The 2 names that were listed were Chelsea and whatever agent last name you use for that, because we don't really refer to it too often. And then the Rosemary Norman one popped
Okay.
up. The rest of you had your names. Your names pop up. You didn't see. You didn't see your real names. So Lana Bogdan, Ben Lancet. You didn't see those. Didn't show up on the TV.
Okay, so Magnolia Roads is solid.
Well, that's not what I said. I just said it was on the TV.
So what are we gonna do today?
Good name. I personally, I don't know where, but I would like to spend time translating and reading the French military intelligence stuff.
Okay. Some of it is translated, but yeah, there's like, it's basically got a bunch of French files, and it's
Yeah.
got translations of it. That's the
I
one that
speak French.
that's the one that you guys, when you read some of it, you flipped through it and you saw
Yeah.
like, you saw some margin notes and stuff like that from 2 or 3 different forms of handwriting. But I don't
But I,
think
like,
you all
wanna-
ever went back and like did like a really thorough, like, let's sit
Yeah,
down and read through it.
That's
I'm
what
not
I want to
sure.
do. It's like a thorough.
Okay. So you wanna basically post up somewhere and start digging through the stuff. Where are you posting up?
I was thinking the Airbnb.
Okay. All right. Vessel, Album, Fawn. What are you 3 doing?
I'm kind of curious if Dr. Dallin is still in contact.
So what do you want to do?
Maybe like give him a call on a burner phone.
Okay.
Oh,
You call.
that's ballsy.
Okay. Yeah, you have his card. So you have a direct number for him to his office. You call. You punch in the extension. We'll say first you probably get. I'm not sure if it's one of those things where you can automatically punch it in, or somebody answers and you give it to him. But yeah, you call, and he answers the phone. He's like, "Hello, this is Dr. Dallin speaking. Can I help you?"
If you answer this call, and you know who we are. Are you friend or foe?
I'm sorry. Who am I speaking with?
This is Vessel himself.
Vessel. It's good that you called. It's good that you called. What's troubling you?
If you've heard the news recently, what is this about?
What is what about? I think it's best if you just tell me what exactly is on your mind. What is it that seems to be bothering you?
Well, it seems you can't help us anymore, so I'm gonna have to end this call.
Okay, roll an alert test.
Success.
Even with the -20, that's still a success.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yep.
On the dot. Or plus 20. Yeah, -20. Because it would be, you need a 68, you roll a 68. You get the sense that in between some of his pauses, you might have overheard him. Someone else in the room, maybe. You're wondering whether, and then like you heard suddenly it was on speaker when he first answered. It was just him. But then you hung up the phone. You didn't really get anything more than that. But you get the sense that maybe somebody else might have been in the room with him, and you might have been on speaker for part of that call.
Yeah, I think the Dorchester's done so.
Well, yeah, they sent the cops after us.
Does this
Down.
hotel have a kitchen in it? Or is this like a bare bones room?
No, this isn't like a long stay suite. No.
Okay. Album will just look at Vessel and say, I would destroy that just in case they have enough time to track its signal.
I'll let you take care of it. You seem to know what you're doing.
Album's gonna make a beeline for the nearest like garbage disposal or like something that he could throw that phone into.
Sure. I don't know where a garbage disposal would be in a non-suite room. But I'm pretty
That's what I
sure you
mean. If
could
like
just
there's
yeah.
if there's
Like
like
a
a
dumpster.
common area or
He just like throws it out a window.
Oh yeah. Like okay, yeah. You go
Duct
downstairs.
tape it to a taxi.
Sure, yeah. You go downstairs. There's like the continental breakfast area, everything where you kind of
Yeah.
fix your own stuff, and you go to the shared. And it's cleaned up at this point because it's over at 11. It's probably around 1 at this point, so there's no one really there. There's people in the lobby and people milling about, but there's not like a full crowd of people here. And you go over to the sink and you just look left, look right. There's people. You just drop it in there and then it just and it goes kind of creates this horrible cacophony. And at a certain point, someone comes running over, like, oh my god, what is, oh god, and like this like kind of bellhop, hotel worker. It's like, sir, what did you drop in there? And they turn the switch so it stops, and they start kind of going through, and they're,
and
sir,
Album's just gonna like look horrified and he's gonna be like, I dropped it when I was getting ready. I was playing Candy Crush and I went to turn the sink on to fill my glass and I and Album's just gonna try and sell it.
Okay. Sure. Roll like a persuasion.
I will use one of my re-rolls.
Okay. And you don't have any penalties. You're rolling like normal.
Wow. As it was the best of times, it was
Okay.
the worst of times.
Oh my gosh. I am so very sorry, sir. We
It's my own clumsiness. I almost beat my high score.
it's okay, sir. These days, there are accounts with these apps, and so if you get another phone, and you can probably log in. Like, are you Android or are you? Oh well, take a look. Oh, this is definitely Android. Yeah. Sure. They'll have your scores and everything. They track all your data. It's great. It's fantastic. Everything will be fine. There's actually a Verizon. If you go right out the doors here, go to the left, 3 blocks, and you'll see the store. It's a small area. There's a Subway there as well if you're hungry. Just be more careful. This isn't a light switch, unfortunately.
And Alvin will take the many pieces of the phone and like say, "Oh, thank you," and he'll act like he's going to the Verizon and just try and find like a side entrance back into the hotel to go back up and meet up with everyone.
Okay. So as you walk out the hotel, you kind of look back, and you can see that the hotel worker just kind of waves at you, and it's just like kind of pointing in your direction. And you kind of turn around, maybe put some sunglasses on, and out of your peripheral vision, as you start to walk away, and you're looking through the glass, it's kind of tinted glass. It's like the strangest of things just happened. You're looking back through the lobby. Maybe the glare is kind of screwing things up. But you watch that hotel worker that was just helping you turn around, and you could have sworn that they just walked right back into that kitchen area, opened up what looked like a hanging cupboard, and just crawled inside of it.
Like behind the sink or something? Like
it's just like a kitchen base cabinets, hanging cabinets, and they just opened up one and just kind of stepped onto the countertop and just crawled into the cupboard and then closed the doors behind them. Again, all of this you think you saw. It was through a window on the other side of a lobby. You just put your sunglasses on, so you're getting that kind of weird like light situating thing. Maybe it was different, but they helped you with your phone. They waved to you, and then now you look back and you can't see them, and you could have sworn you just saw that.
The curiosity will get the better of him, and he'll turn around and walk back inside and see if that person's standing there.
Yeah, you walk back inside. You don't see them standing there. The kitchen area looks empty as far as you can see. Not many places you can hide.
He'll put the pieces of the phone in his back pocket because he doesn't want to dispose of them in a public trash bin, and he'll go up to the cabinet he thinks he saw them crawl into and open it.
Yeah, you open it up, and it looks like it's just a bunch of packets of sugar and Sweet and Low and other coffee products that they probably use to refill the various trays and stuff during continental breakfast. Go ahead and roll a SAN.
Success.
Okay.
8 over 30, under 37.
You hold it together, and you kind of slide some stuff just around. Maybe you look. Maybe is there a window that they crawled out of, and it's just you don't have any idea what just happened. You must be seeing things. Maybe you didn't get as good a sleep as you thought you did.
He'll grab a bunch of Splenda packets and then head back to the hotel room.
Okay. Okay, so Chelsea wanted to head over to the Airbnb. Vessel Fawn, what were you thinking of doing?
I also think we should probably get out of here relatively quickly, because it's always possible that whoever checked us in the day before would recognize us.
At this point, it's early afternoon, like 1 p.m. or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Go
leave
check
this
out.
hotel.
Okay. All right. You guys clean up. Do what you can. Go through your inventory of stuff. And then you leave. Album has a vehicle, I believe now, right? You said you had a vehicle that you brought with you.
Yeah, my
you
truck.
You didn't initially drive your truck with you when you first came in. So you have your truck now. For now, we can say everyone just piles into that, and you get an Airbnb in the area. Vessel, you pay for it with a series of Visa gift cards that you purchased from a Walgreens across the street from the Hampton Inn, and you've set down like the cost that you would need for, we'll say, a 2-night stay. It's probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you get settled into it. It is a quick turnaround, but you were able to find one. By the time you're kind of situated in this Airbnb, we'll say it's a 3-bedroom. No, you didn't have a lot of money. We'll say it's a 2-bedroom. Has a kitchen. It overlooks what looks like the Medford neighborhood, which is over by where Barbas lives, or lived until you burnt his house down. And Chelsea, you start getting to work digging through the file. You still got hours left in the day. Fawn, Vessel, you're exhausted. Album, you're feeling okay. What do the 3 of you want to do?
So Fawn wants to try to kind of plan out kind of how we're gonna meet our kind of how we're gonna pay bail back, because one of the things that we're supposed to do is arrange a arrange a fake tryst between 2 people without actually having them meet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna say, like, how, like, we just have to, like, somehow create proof that they were together. Like, do we think that our instructions are like Photoshop kind, or like what are we supposed to do to?
Yeah, maybe we define like doppelgangers, right? People remotely close to these people, and somehow frame the situation that they met together.
You have their names, but you don't know anything else other than their names.
Yeah, we need to learn stuff about him.
Right, so take this chance to look into them.
Okay. All right. 2 of you want to do that. Okay. Do you want to just hit the interwebs, see if you can find some details about them? Okay, we'll say each one of you picks a person.
Christine Nelson, right?
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just say each one of you picks a person. You start digging into them. Rolling in ×5. I'll give you a +20 on this, so you can just roll flat. It's just Google searching. There's nothing too particularly difficult. You're not under stress or anything.
Success, 66
Okay.
under 75. I took Castaigne.
Okay, fair enough. Vessel. Okay, we'll start with Castaigne.
Penalty for this?
No, I'm giving you a +20 on this because it's like you're sitting around.
Oh, okay.
These are just normal people. The military guy was different because you're kind of digging into a military personnel files, which is a little different than just regular people. Okay, so Lou Castaigne. You do in fact find Lou Castaigne pretty easily. In fact, you realize that he has kind of not an alter ego, but his social media doesn't seem to be personal, but instead seems to be based around his business, and he apparently is a food truck chef within the Boston area. Specifically, he's seen his truck, which is called the Croquette Man, which is the name. He has a website, Instagram, etc. And he seems to be in his early 40s, 42, and his truck seems to going to make the rounds near Harvard and Northeastern campuses. So it tends to be a food truck where he kind of leans into various events and locations within kind of these college neighborhoods. From what you can tell, Fawn, he does appear through most of his social media, which is just which is Twitter and Instagram. He's got that @CroquetteMan handle. Everything's business focused. He's got pictures of his food, his customers, updated menus, and you can see that his Twitter is very regular and has been posting even today specific spots where the truck is going to be parked. With your critical success, because that was you who critical succeeded, you found some other things. You found that his wife has a Facebook page. He does not seem to have one, but she seems to have a Facebook page that is more family oriented, and same with Instagram. And it looks like he's got kids. So you're able to dig out some basics that he is about 42 years old. He's bilingual, or at least that's what his Twitter suggests, because he posts things both in English and Spanish. Focuses on like various types of croquettes, like an actual finger food, and like special Spanish rice and stuff like that is his shtick. His wife is named Samantha, is a couple years younger than him. Apparently, she is from some kind of old Boston family money, and they have 2 kids, Gabrielle and Michael. He apparently attended the Cambridge School of Culinary Arts. And you see some pictures of him wearing like a white polo shirt and holding a tennis racket, and you can see in the back it looks like Northeastern University tennis courts as well. So that's everything you were able to dig up through just creeping on his social media.
Do I happen to see pictures of he and his wife playing tennis, or does it seem to be just him there?
You just see him.
Okay.
Vessel, you look up Constance Nelson. Her maiden name is Hallberg. And you also are able to hunt her down on social media. She has a not particularly active Facebook page. But it does, however, let you know that her birthday was a week ago, September 1st. And she just turned 40. And so there are some pictures there of like her at what looks like some kind of a nearby bar, gastropub type thing called the Mission Bar. You also see pictures of her at a CrossFit. So she has stuff on her Facebook that gives you some information. She does also have a husband who's older. They don't seem to have any kids that at least that they reference in their social media. But they do have a lot of pictures of dogs. From what you can tell, she works in the medical field, but you can't quite discern exactly what it is. She doesn't seem to be a doctor or a nurse, but she's in the medical industry of some kind, because you see pictures of her at a hospital with doctors and nurses, and does seem to have Brigham and Women's Hospital seems to be the location. And that's all you're able to get.
Jeff, would I be able to do a secondary search on mine?
Okay, sure. What do you want to do?
So you mentioned that Lou's wife, Samantha, seems to come from Boston Money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to dig up some information about her family.
Okay. Go ahead and roll another test.
So if we get the same bonus, it's 72 under 75.
Okay. It looks like, from what you can tell, it's Lancashire seems to be like the name. Her family apparently are fairly well regarded and well known. There's a building or something named after them, maybe on the Northeastern campus. So they're big donors, from what you can tell. It doesn't seem like they have active industry, but it looks like at some point they dealt with import-export. That's how they made their money.
Can I try to do Google searches of like other family names that we know? So like Lancashire and of course, no, I'm blanking on every single name. The publishing company.
Yeah, the only name that seems at all familiar to you is his, Castaigne. You have met a Castaigne, and you have seen the name Chastain with an H instead of just Castaigne. That's the only thing that looks familiar. I'm going to kick it over to Chelsea. Chelsea, you've been spending hours looking through this file. So if you recall, this was found by Vessel in the Boxer Hotel in the room 616. You were going through it, and you did find what were some kind of like marginalia from two different pieces of handwriting. You found a photograph of someone by the name of Emmett Mosby, and it was in Medford, July 5th, but he was wearing like old stuff. He looked like he was wearing like a zoot suit, like an older suit. The photo listed him as an intelligence operative, and it had missing October 1951. But it says Medford, July 5th, and you all know that Medford is Barbas's neighborhood, and now where you're staying in your bed and breakfast. You also there was a typed translation of The King in Yellow, which the play specifically, and the pages are stamped Delta Green. You see all these different pages are stamped Delta Green. You also found a very, very, very old black and white photograph that was stamped 1895. There was a piece of masking tape on it that said Marbas, and there were two actors in pantomime that were wearing ruffled brocade outfits and small fez-like hats. One is a tall African-American man that you know as, or that you would recognize as Elias Barbas or Agent Exeter. The other is an attractive woman that you have not identified. There was another piece of writing that was in the same writing as the Mosby picture, the Mosby photograph, that was on a section of the translated play that said West Window during sleep. And then in that same handwriting on the last piece of the paper of the file, as you kind of go back through it, it says words copy themselves, call O, making books in the house, ? Dallin -9 on July 8th, and then mace, stun gun, zip tie, put in the D space H, then raid Medford H and burn. Now, you've gotten all that information before. Obviously, it might look different now with some of your experiences that you've had, some of the other things that you've learned. But taking kind of more time to look through it than just kind of like quick flipping through, you start digging in, especially since Chelsea is looking at it too, because Chelsea does speak French, I believe, and there are French files in here. You do know that this is like pre-World War II French military intelligence is what this file is. So you can see that there is a write-up of Le Roi en Juin, specifically an outbreak in 1895. And that specific word is used as sort of like an outbreak. And it also includes notes from some kind of German intelligence around 1941, when it seems like there's like some sort of stray notes here and there. It seems like they were examining this particular file that you have in your hands, and they found this to be somewhat mundane. You see notes that are that's referencing a name. This is in the other handwriting that you saw initially. Someone by the name of Haster. And that they are associated, quote, with myth cycles found in restricted works such as the Necronomicon. And that same handwriting notes that like they've read the play in its entirety and they found the play unremarkable. Sorry, my PDF is dying on me right now.
Hester, you say?
Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else you would have gotten. I think that's about it. But it essentially seems to be sorry, my PDF's just slowly kind of going down on me here. It's just dying out. Like these PDFs are huge because they have so much text in them. There's so much image. it kind of slows everything down pretty bad, especially when I'm streaming.
And you have like 20 open, I'm sure.
I have 3 different PDFs open currently.
All of our notes times 1,000.
So yeah, and you can see other handwriting where the kind of just kind of summaries of the play, the contents of the play, which you're aware of. You've read it. Both you and Vessel have read it at this point. Yeah, that's kind of all you have right now. Let me see if I can open this up. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I restart this PDF thing.
So, Vessel, it doesn't seem like we got a lot of overlap in kind of how these two people would be connected, and I didn't necessarily see any particular reason why.
Yeah. First, can you like clarify what we have to do with them? I know they have to like meet or make it seem like they have an affair with you.
Our specific instruction was to arrange a fake trust.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not actually to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, which in my mind means that you like doctor some photos or something like that to make it look like they're having an affair, or doppelgangers, I think was the other idea, like trying to fake something that looks like they're having an affair, but
We need to align enough evidence that the law will think that there's some sort of impropriety. They can never meet, of course. If either of you find me an invitation, that would serve instead. So, evidence that the law will think there's some sort of impropriety.
yeah, I don't know why the law would care if they're being unfaithful to their spouses, but
Okay.
I mean, it would be easy
Worse.
enough to doctor up some like text message conversations, but I don't know if that'd be proof enough within itself. Like Photoshop could easily manage something like that.
yeah, we could do yeah, proof of some communications. I mean, if we've got some social media, like maybe like 'cause since he's got like the business Twitter, maybe like faking a Twitter that looks like it's hers and sending
Didn't-
some messages.
Wasn't there a mentioning too of they both post a lot of pictures of dogs?
She posts pictures of dogs. His wife posts pictures of their kids.
Oh,
So we've got like a way, like we could fake a Twitter account that could like communicate with him like on the business one. Doctor some photos or create some fake photos that would pass. Like if law enforcement were to look at a photo where like we hired people that look like them, it would pass in the sense that the photos weren't doctored. Like there was no, Photoshop used, so it would kind of pass law enforcement that way, that it's not a faked photo if we were able to go like the doppelganger route.
Okay, Ashley, I got some more info for you. Okay. So you see a lot of notes, and so I'm just going to give you summaries. So just imagine that this is sort of written as kind of a bullet list notes of various handwriting, but it's kind of like a timeline of events that revolve around the play Le Roi en Jaune, which you know is the King in Yellow. So I'm just going to refer to it as King in Yellow. So you have a note that the first documented identification of unnatural events that apparently were associated with the play happened sometime in May 1895 in Paris. And that apparently members of the government were, like at least 2 members of the French government were kind of under the influence as well. Now, you know that the specific military investigative group whose file you're reading right now, apparently after the death of President Jean Casimir Perrier, their personal secretary, Marie, man, why did it have to be French? I could do German. Why did it have to be French? Marie Ang Reverdine French agents investigated the play, and they started burning copies of it. They believe the book was written by a foreigner. That's the notes that you have in this file. These are old notes, but they have been like rewritten and translated, stuff like that. Someone by the name of Auteur X, or in some cases just referred to as X. Now, sometime apparently in July of 1895, there were plans for a live performance, and they were announced by a group called the Poppies, which is apparently a Parisian acting troupe. Apparently, there is a note written in one of the margins, one of the handwritings, that says, Adrian Darabandi chorus ? There is kind of a sketch of a poster for this particular play that's depicting a woman holding a mask with a snake crawling through its eyes. And apparently that became a fairly common sight throughout Paris during this time. Rehearsals began, and apparently these intelligence agents started staking out the theater in hope of trying to apprehend Auteur X, the author of this play, and he doesn't ever appear. The gist you're kind of getting is that they seem to think that there's something unnatural associated with this play. Now, sometime in late August of 1895, the play opened to sold-out crowds in Paris, and it was apparently the talk of the town. It was a very small venue, and so it was almost impossible to collect a ticket. And the specific investigative agency, they permitted the show to go on, specifically because they were using it to try to flush out the author. Now, at the end of during the last week of August, viewers of the play, apparently there were reports. All of this is summarized. All of this is hearsay. Reports, audience members were fainting, and they had to be escorted out. And this kind of grew like wildfire and caused like interest in the show. It became kind of like an urban legend, kind of an underground shtick. And tickets started selling for like outrageous prices. And then on 30th of August, 1895, the last sold-out show of The King in Yellow by the Poppies is broken up by the police, the Paris police, under strict direction from the French Military Intelligence Bureau. Cast members were arrested, and moments before the raid, the show apparently was disrupted by strangely dressed English-speaking intruders who drew firearms on stage and then fled, pursued by what's called, quote, men from China and masked riflemen in black. And that's all I got for you from that file. And all that was basically in French with periodic notes in English.
Good
Okay.
gracious.
All right. That was a lot. Sorry.
That is a lot.
Wanted to get that out. Okay. So, Vessel, Fawn, you've done research into these two. You've collected a lot of information. You have addresses. You know where they work. In some cases, you know where they live. You can fairly easily get to a point. Don't forget, your job isn't just like find stuff on the internet, but there's always that whole like follow people thing, right? Go and see them, meet them. So that's something we could do like next time if you guys wanted to sort of stalk or stake these people out.
Yeah, we've definitely been getting some helpful suggestions in chat of like hiring doubles that look like them and then taking pictures of the doubles doing things. And
Sure.
like waiters and other people would swear that they saw them together.
Okay.
I think it's
Album.
clever.
So Vessel and Fawn and Chelsea have been reading, and they've been doing research. Album, what have you been doing all this time? What have you been up to?
Album would like want to try again into like hacking the naval database, although he would mention to the group like, okay, well, I've got some like fresh devices loaded up. Probably don't want to do this on the Airbnb internet. So he would like wants to find he would want to drive to a location where he could try to break into some random person's internet, uh, and then try to once again hack the database so that it's coming
Okay.
from an area where he's not anywhere close to.
I imagine he's driving through like a street that's like he knows is elderly people, and he's just like sending messages to printers to have them print things and shit.
Okay.
Originally, I was thinking of going to like a Starbucks, and I'm like, nah, their guest Wi-Fi do not allow that.
So you'll go about a neighborhood. You're in a neighborhood, so you're at a B&B, so you're in a neighborhood, so you can kind of stroll around the neighborhood or drive the
different
truck.
neighborhood. That's
Oh
not
yeah,
where
no,
we
he
are.
would. Yeah, he would definitely go like several miles away so that it doesn't.
All right, so you go to a
he wants to
completely
make sure
different
it's not
neighborhood.
traceable. Yeah.
No problem. So you leave. You head out and you drive around the neighborhood. Roll comp sci. Roll computer science. Okay. Yeah, you're easily able as you're kind of strolling, like slow riding through this neighborhood with a laptop, kind of in
Kinda
the
catch
in
me
the
riding
passenger
dirty.
seat, and you're just kind of looking around. You find a fairly busy street where you can kind of busy in the sense that there's a lot of cars already out there, so it's gonna be easy to blend in. You park, you get the laptop out, and you find a signal. With your 56, I mean, breaking into someone's Wi-Fi is not the hardest thing to do in the world. It's really not. So
Yeah.
you're able to get into their Wi-Fi. Now I need you to roll specifically for trying to get information on this guy.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if like perhaps electronic security system or just another comp sci roll would work. But essentially, it would just kind of knowing the specific clearances this guy has, maybe like his chain of command, as well as like if there's some sort of like, you know, when you go to work, you have like a schedule of like, oh, you work these hours, maybe like some kind of like thing outline of where he's going to be and when, even when if it's like events or like ceremonies.
Okay, just roll comp sci. If the other one's higher, you can roll that one.
Yeah, my electronic security systems is 76.
Yeah, I mean, electronic security systems. Was that software though, or was that like I thought we had treated that like it was like you were trying to like hack through like literal security systems, not just like hacking through like secure databases.
I
This
wasn't
seems
sure. Yeah,
different.
like it seems like it could go either way, of like a firewall and then like a electronic alarm system on a
Alright.
house. I wasn't sure.
I'll give you comp sci with like a
Okay.
plus 20 with plus
Okay.
20, just because you have. Oh my gosh, we have a reroll left, I think.
Yeah, we do. We have 2 left.
All right,
Yeah,
it's
I'll
a skill
use
test.
one.
You can roll it. Yeah. Oh
I'll
my
use one of
gosh.
those.
I was gonna say that's gonna be. They find you again.
It's the second time a
Oh,
crit
critical
fail with a
success.
crit success. That's so weird.
Gosh, it's a turnaround. Okay, thank you. I think
We're getting the
that was-
max
that was
reward out of
Ryan. He
this.
threw us the bits for that. Okay.
Money well spent.
So you know where he's. Probably having information about where he's specifically located is helpful. But you're able to. So you're specifically looking for when he's there. So he seems to work at this Naval Reserve Center called NOSC Quincy, which again is about 45 minutes to an hour, kind of southeast of where you're at. And it seems like he's a Monday through Friday, and it seems that he starts early. He's like he does like a 7 to 4, and then like on like Thursdays he leaves a little early. But other than that, he does like these kind of long shifts, these long 9-hour shifts. His goal, he's not the commander of this site, but as you start digging through some of the locations, you actually find it on Yelp. You find it on like these other Facebook pages that where other personnel that have either been assigned there or Naval Reserve people who have actually used that site for their support center have posted. And so you start collecting all sorts of third-party information about this place, and it honestly is really just it's just a building office. Like it's not anything fancy. You see, it almost looks like a dental office in some of those pictures. You see like what looks like, you know, the kind of the classic, you know, tight short carpeting and like those like heavy light wooden doors. You see plenty of people taking pictures that are like getting some kind of either certificate or they've some kind of completion. It looks like there's a lot of classes that go on there. Like there's like some kind of large auditorium style classroom with like tiered seating. You can see people who are like giving some kind of lectures there. There's some kind of large gym that seems to be attached to it as well, and so people kind of come and go. From what you're able to learn, there seems to be a separate way to enter into the gym that is open beyond the hours of the normal center. So like the center has its own normal operating business hours, but people can access the gym late into the night. It's not 24 hours, but they can access it late into the night with a proper swipe ID. They can get in there. You can see that they apparently are doing some kind of food drive that's benefiting Greater Boston, the Greater Boston Food Bank, and Rosie's Place, which is a women's shelter nearby. Trying to see if there's anything else like that's there's nothing else that's probably too nothing else. I mean, other than that, that's pretty much all you're really getting. But you get the sense that there's no like major security, in the sense like it's not gated, there's no armed guards. You can pull up right into the parking lot. Getting into the place during normal hours of operation, you just open the front door. It's like a glass door with glass door opening, reception area, etc. After hours, you have to have like proper access. There's like a kind of key card thing. And you know that it backs up right onto a park. So like there's kind of fairly easy access there. And there's like a cemetery across the street as well. So like there's places that like you can kind of approach somewhat occluded, somewhat hidden.
Okay.
Now, you're at this for a while, okay? And the days passing, people are coming home from their work days as 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock starts coming. And you can see that people are getting out of their cars. You can see some people are like, looks like they're walking home from like a train or a bus station nearby. And you can see people walking past. Kind of begins to get to be a fairly kind of crowded area. But suddenly you see, and like out of nowhere, as you're just sitting there typing away, you're looking at pictures of like the gym. You're seeing like there's some sort of dodgeball tournament that they're doing. You're startled as your truck suddenly shakes. And you can see that a handful of people just run past your truck. They run from the center of the street right in front of your truck. One of them kind of bumps into it, kind of shakes it, and they run up into the yard of the home that you're nearby. You see them pass through like the side of the house into the kind of the backyard. But you then notice that as you turn your head back, there's more people coming, as you can see that there's a man chasing after them, wearing this old gas mask and carrying this big, heavy shotgun. And then you see chasing after them, it's this like almost comical parade, are these cops that start running as well. And you even hear the sound of like kind of shotgun fire coming from around the corner of the house itself. You see these cops run past you, and like you do kind of like a double take as you just watch them almost in shock as they run past you, and you realize that something's off about them. Something's not quite right. Nothing was right about that situation at all, but you realize that they don't wear uniforms that look at all like the cops that you've seen, because you've had some run-ins with cops in Boston. They look almost like something out of like a Halloween costume. These old-time outfits. They're wearing these hats that look in no way, shape, or form normal day. They don't have the kind of tightness of modern day, like, cop outfits. And you realize it's like something out of the 1940s or the 1950s. And you see them just sort of run down the alleyway, chasing after, and you just hear a cacophony of bullshit of bullet shots coming from behind the house somewhere. And we're gonna end there for this evening, because we got a hard stop as we gotta end.
Is that what we just heard about in Chelsea's research?
I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know what's going on.
You know everything. We know.
I don't. I've read this book 4 times. I still don't know what's going on.
I was just waiting for somebody to just approach the truck and like ask Alvin what they're doing, and he has to like pull up a porn tab and be like, "I was watching porn," so, like, because that's
I
an
just thought it was
easier
funny.
thing.
It was funny that this is the second time you've been parked outside of a suburban Boston neighborhood, and both times the cops are coming for you.
Yep.
I know. Alvin is really not liking the
Gotta
police.
stop doing this. He's like,
You're gonna leave Boston and never come back.
Pretty much. Alvin's gonna start a
boy.
rap career after this and start rapping about the police.
Oh God. Okay. So that'd be it for now. We will continue this next week into the investigation of what now? Who knows? Like you guys, what I find interesting is like
So
you guys had an
much.
Operation Alice.
Uh-huh.
Then you had
Yep.
Operation India Moon, but
Yep.
that ended up being who knows what because Exeter who gave it to you. Now it's like, what are you doing now? Like, do you have an operation? Like, do you have a handler? Like you're just kind of like flailing on your own. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Which I find
Operation
funny.
Sand
Bacon
Loss.
Affair.
Yeah, something like that.
I wonder. Yeah, we haven't talked to Delta Green. I don't know what they would think of us at this point. Like, I feel like
So, do we even go through with making the affair though? Because like that feels like all we're doing is helping push the play to completion, and it's like that sounds like a really bad idea, man.
but the only way out is through. Is what the poem says, and poetry never lies.
Yeah, but should we
Operation
even make
Survive.
it out?
That's right. Yeah. Sure.
We're compromised at this point.
I know.
I think we've been compromised since we got this mission.
I got a bullet with our names on it. That's all I'm saying, you know?
And they're in her. She's got 3 bullet wounds.
That's funny. I had 3 names. Fuck.
Who's the one that she doesn't have?
Oh.
All right. So let's go ahead and call it. Tomorrow we're back for Blades in the Dark heist number 2. We'll see how that goes with our gutter witches selling some drugs. See how that works. Let's see. Let's see. Sunday I'll be over on Steam Still Murders. We're playing some Shadowrun. Monday we're back here on our channel, Ultraviolet Grasslands. And then don't forget next Thursday, September 30th on Garblog Games, I'm starting up a new Delta Green game with a new crew. We're not doing Impossible Landscapes. We're doing something else. Oh my God. Can you imagine running Impossible Landscapes twice? My brain would melt. So come check that out and then be back on Friday. So I got back-to-back days, Thursday, Friday next week of Delta Green. So come check us out. Thanks for everyone who hung out. Thanks for the bits. Hope you enjoyed the song and, yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and give somebody a raid. So we'll catch you later. So bye-bye.
Bye.